We're also hugely competitive, so it's about to get nasty. Let's begin.
Yeah, maybe. All right. I'm going to ask the person. Go ahead, one more. One more. Bring us anything. Mackie was shooting in the UK. He just finished, and he just got on the Zoom with us. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Mackie's here. He's on Anthony! Where is he? Where's Stanley?
I think it's like 2 a.m. in the UK, so he might have fallen asleep on his keyboard.
Yeah. Mackie, Okay, alright.
Well, we're going to keep going anyway. Mackie wants to text you an answer. He's more than welcome to. This is a question. Which of the following is not an infinity stone? I'm asking Team Ruffalo. Light, time,
Yes.
space, or power?
Light.
Which is not.
Senator's got it. What do you got? I think it's
Light.
light.
You said light. That's it. We got that. Well done. Okay. Now, one for you guys now. How did Wakanda get its vibranium? Sent back in time from a future Shuri, created by Wakanda ancestors. C, arrived to Wakanda in the form of an asteroid, or D, discovered as a result of a volcanic eruption.
C.
She's making a whole question. You insult you guys. She's making a call.
Sure, you want to think about it?
Is she a complete answer?
He's right.
D, she's right. Absolutely. Right? All right. Here we go. Keep Ruffalo. How many PhDs does the Hulk have?
Ooh. Wait, the Hulk or that?
Does the Hulk have?
Ooh, Scarlet. Yeah,
That's not right.
I agree.
That goes with the
Trick question.
I agree.
Is it a trick question?
It kind of is.
Unless in that last episode he went to school. Like,
Alright, so are we saying trick question? Trick question, final answer?
Yeah, wait a minute. Are we talking about Smart Hulk as one
I'm going to give you answers. How many PhDs does the Hulk have? Is it 0? Is it 3? Is it 6 or 7? 0. How many PhDs does the Hulk have? He's really, really smart.
Hulk can go to school?
Am I allowed to answer? Yeah, what's
Yes.
Yeah, what do you got? Come on, Mark.
He's got 7 PhDs. He's got a medical doctor degree, and he holds 6 degrees in physics and gamma radiation.
Hulk? Or Banner?
No, it's Banner.
Alright, what's the answer? Give us the answer, Rowdy.
You guys got the trick question out of the gate. You'll fill market on that one later. Yeah, you're right. It's 0 for Hulk. It's 7 for Banner.
There we go. Right. Oh, it was a trick question. Trick question.
Okay, fine. Here you go. So, Team Rudd. Question number 4. 1 hour, 39 minutes, 22 seconds into Endgame. Steve and Tony arrived to Camp Lehigh, briefly passing a government office where the staff works fastidiously. There's an
I got this.
You're trying to embarrass the directors there.
First of all,
I didn't even know this one.
because it's a military installation, it should read 16:33, but it is 4:33 p.m. Yes?
How do you know that?
How do you know that?
This is unbelievable.
We walked by it 30 times.
How many takes did we do on that scene? Like, I mean, 50, right?
We did a bunch, but it was also supposed to be an afternoon scene. If you remember the time of day it was when we traveled there, once we botched it, it was mid to late afternoon.
Yeah.
My God.
Wow. All right, here we go. In the final battle against Thanos, who did T'Challa pass the gauntlet to? Was it Shuri, Spider-Man, Ant-Man, or the Hulk?
No idea.
I wasn't there, so sorry.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Go Spider-Man.
It's Spider-Man. Yeah, I'm with Senator Harris. I think it's Spider-Man.
Senator Harris.
Oh my guys, you really know your stuff.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
Okay, here we go. Team run. In Endgame, which of the below could be spotted by Black Widow's desk? A. Boxing gloves. B. Brass knuckles. C. Ballet shoes. Or D. A really hard crossword puzzle, like a super hard one.
Yeah, do you remember what we put on that desk?
Stop them.
Stop them. I like your own level. I think we got this one.
Aww.
We haven't given an answer yet. I think I know.
You heard the
Wait, is it a crossword puzzle? Or ballet shoes? Ballet shoes?
I think it's that. I think it's that. I think it's the ballet shoes.
Ballet shoes. Good, you're invincible. Yes, ballet shoes.
Yes!
All right.
Oh, I'm not supposed to.
Okay. Who makes a cameo in the final battle against Thanos? Is it A. Howard the Duck, B. Red Hulk, C. Nick Fury, D. Happy Hogan? Howard the Duck, Red Hulk, Nick Fury, Happy Hogan.
We know that.
How would do that?
That
How would do that?
Is that for the win?
I'm like, yeah, I'm rooting for like all teams.
Okay, no, here we go. This is for the win.
I would have been
It's
that.
8 hours, 17 minutes, and 25 seconds into Endgame, a few Avengers arrive to help our struggling heroes. Who is positioned 13 from the left of frame? A. Core, B. Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch,
Nope.
C. Valkyrie, or D. Doctor Strange?
I got it. It's Valkyrie.
I was gonna say, this is.
It's Valkyrie.
Wait a minute.
What? What?
You were there for a lot of these questions, but this is like off the charts crazy. And I probably saw that movie 400 times, and I cannot tell you it was 13.
Well, I do have the time stone. And there were 3 questions, burning questions that I needed the answers to, so I might have played with the multiverse a little bit. Well, see, there was 433, Valkyrie, and I needed the answer on a certain upcoming decision. There we go.
Downey called it. So excited here with the VP.
I'm glad you survived the use of those stones, Robert.
What does that mean? Does that mean I tried?
Yeah,
I
what's
don't
the
know.
score?
What's the last question?
All omens are good. Oh my God, it's a tie.
We tied.
Perfect.
All I'll say is Senator Harris carried your team.
Yeah, she kind of did.
It's kind of true.
Thank you, Senator Harris.
Thank you, Senator.
I think we have a question.
What's that?
I think we have time for one last question. You have a last question?
Let's do
I got
that.
a question.
I don't know, do you?
No, do I? Oh, no.
I have a question.
No good. All right. See. Which Avenger said?
All right, I do have a question. Yeah, all right, I have a great question. Team Run. Which Avenger said this? We can choose the path of becoming angrier, less hopeful, and more divided. A path of shadow and suspicion. Or we can choose a different path. A path of hope and light. Was it Steve Rogers, Kamala Harris, Black Panther, Joe Biden, or Tony Stark?
It was Joe Biden.
Yeah.
You can't give me the answer.
That's a win. A win's a win.
See, now if that kind of sign is somebody wants to bring people together, I don't know what it is.
That's pretty good. But bad for our team.
No, that was the right answer. That's the right answer. She nailed it. Now you go ahead.
He did. It was a great speech he gave. It was a great speech. He was a great speech. You should also hear his Gettysburg speech. Great speech. That was at the convention, and then there was the Gettysburg speech. Both really incredible. And that's Joe. That's who Joe is. He really does want to bring the country together. Really is who he is.
Joe, you could be on the spot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like something Marcus and McFeely would write. That's beautiful. Well said. Beautiful.
And I think that is a very fitting quote to end this on. I just, again, I want to thank all of you deeply and from the bottom of our hearts for joining us today. And I want to thank you, Senator Harris. It's been amazing getting to spend time with all of you together. Avengers, do you guys have any comments for everyone out there?
Everybody,
Everybody,
love one another, take care of each other, and just remember how important this moment is, and really show up.
please
Vote
vote.
Democrat.
Please vote.
Please
Vote
vote.
Democrat. Straight down the ticket. I mean, I'm being political.
And thank
Yeah.
you, Senator. Thank you so much. You
Yeah.
for just being that trailblazer that is fighting for us all in the front lines and not letting us down and always compelling us to lean in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well said.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. I mean, look, I could do this all day. I could do this all day. But, and then just remind everybody to go to iwillvote.com.
Yep.
Let's make our voices heard and let's get this done. And to the Russo brothers and to the entire cast, thank you guys. This was incredible, really incredible. I mean, not only incredible joy and standing out, but it's incredible what you guys are doing. So thank you for that. Thank you. On behalf of Joe and myself, we so appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all. Up to everybody who joined us and contributed. It's going to make a huge difference.
Thank you,
the future of the
yeah.
country. So thank you all for being here and contributing.
Vote early.
Guys.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, thank you.
Vote early.
So.
Hold on, we're not talking yet. Stand by two.
Jerry, come on. Sean, Mike, William, Alice in Chains. It's the one band everyone can still agree upon. How did you do it? 33 years later, I'll tell you. Unadulterated, iconic, understatement. Superstars who never sold out. That's the trifecta. Dark, luxurious harmonies, lyrics that make you think and feel. It's the SEM, baby. Seriously elevated musicianship. I cannot wait to see and hear what you do next. I congratulate you, one and all, past and present. Layne and Mike would be so proud of this legacy. Your profound contribution, in my opinion, is you have saved the planet from mediocrity. Yep. Like, oh my God, that'd be a great superhero villain. Mediocritus. Mediocritus. You are vanquished and banished forevermore in the name of AIC. Howdy. Robert Downey Jr. here. Hope you're doing as well as can be expected. It's weird. I mean, I'm telling you, it's hard not to be overwhelmed by the enormity of the challenge we're facing in this pandemic, and I'm glad to be taking a minute to raise awareness and hopefully a little much needed dough for an organization called CORE. CORE stands for Community Organized Relief Effort, and it's right on time, right on schedule. What is job one right now? It's testing, I think. But it is such a massive undertaking. You've been watching the news and it ain't cheap. Right now, CORE is the only organization that is boots on the ground, working with mayors and governors to coordinate free drive-through COVID-19 testing in LA, Atlanta, and they're looking to expand nationwide. I think they're doing a fantastic job. Okay, sounds good, right? Testing, blah, blah, blah. But why is it important? Why should I care? Because if we want our lives back, then we need to marry local governance and citizen involvement to meet demand. We are not powerless to get the job done by any stretch. CORE is actively hiring and training folks to run the testing sites, certain of whom are being paid and many who volunteer. We need volunteers, tons. I'll tell you what, anyone who IDs me at a test site gets first dibs on all the Marvel memorabilia I'll be giving away this summer. What do you think? Yeah. How about another motivator? This is the America I love, where we take action and responsibility for our communities, and we invite the nation to do the same. Every dollar donated to CORE at coreresponse.org is a vote of confidence in our ability to take action and reclaim our freedoms safely together. I'm also going to post a link to this really cool PSA directed by Sam Baer that demonstrates the great and brave works of CORE and LA's healthcare heroes. I'm donating 50 grand and asking that you give whatever you can. This is about reclaiming our power as Americans and making sure no one we lost is forgotten. Once again, that is coreresponse.org. coreresponse.org. Let's do this. You've done such a great job on this Perry Mason series. It is so absorbing seeing Perry in this world of Los Angeles in 1931.
I was living out this incredible fantasy, getting into the car, throwing the cigarette, tipping the hat, trying not to impersonate Bogart.
I'm Robert Downey Jr. I'm one of the executive producers of Perry Mason, and I'm going to have an in-depth discussion with the star, Perry himself, Matthew Rhys.
In-depth terrifies me, but it's a pleasure.
How is this Perry story different from what people might expect?
The sequence of events as to how I came to this project is there's a message from my agent saying, I need to talk to you about the remake of Perry Mason. And I was like, a remake of Perry Mason? I don't know if that's a good idea. I went to meet the writers, and the first thing out of their mouths was, well, we're interested in the origin story. And it stopped me dead in my tracks. And I went, oh yeah, that would be interesting. It's not just him at law school going, this is really hard. It's an incredibly interesting origin story.
And you're a detective, Mr. Mason.
It's a fancy word for a busybody, but yes.
Been working together since just after the war.
This character, as he's being reinvented, is a new archetype. But because we get to do it in episodes that are all just based around one case, there isn't the rush of the movie, but there's the anticipation of the season. And it's really transcendent for me.
The one thing I loved about it is when you find him, he's pretty lost.
At some point, you got to admit this isn't working out.
Don't you have some windows to go peeking?
He's a First World War veteran who's endured this injustice, and he's making a living day to day doing something morally questionable.
You need to decide what kind of person you want to be.
EB is the lawyer with this enormous case that Mason just knows isn't right, and he has to do something about it.
This one's really got its hooks in me.
Me too.
In a world that has done him the greatest injustice, it's the only thing he can do to rectify something in his life.
It's really interesting because just when you think a trope is played out, you spin it in a new way with an investment in a bunch of characters, and it really pays off. I'm going to say the actual name, the character name, and I'd like you to tell me the first 3 descriptive words or things that come to mind. Juliet Rylance as Della Street.
Smoky, sassy, moxie.
You're a bad liar and a lousy tale.
I'm working the case. I'm doing my job.
Chris Chalk as Paul Drake.
Magnetic, intense, and intense.
Can I ask you a couple of questions?
I've seen more than one chalky fella in a cheap-ass suit lying in the gutter with his throat cut.
Tatiana Maslany as Sister Alice.
Ethereal, will-o'-the-wisp.
Blessed be the hangman who will snap this devil's neck.
John Lithgow as E.B. Jonathan.
Humorous, tragic, father.
This is a live one. Wear your good suit.
This is my good suit.
You signed up to do this. It's a lot of work. It's a long time. Why do you believe that this wound up being a good piece of entertainment?
Just the size and beauty of this production is worth taking a look at. But as a story, it's everything you want. For those who want to watch a crime thriller and try and figure it out, they will have that. And for those who ultimately think it's about people having relationships with people, this one flies.
I'm so proud that I'm part of having brought this together. And it's been so satisfying for me to see you take on this iconic character and reinvent it, and with such honesty and integrity in a way that could captivate us. And you have done exactly that, Mr. Reese, and I thank you.
Well, incredibly glad to have the invite on this journey.
Do you feel like you should just hang up the jersey now in case season 2 might not hold up?
You guys did your census yet?
It comes in the mail, right? Sometimes they come to your door. When would it have come?
It comes in the spring, the early spring, and
Okay.
it comes in the mail. And a lot of people, the mail got disrupted because COVID, and so a lot of people didn't get it. But usually, even after it comes in the mail, people come to your door and check up on you and ask you, did you do? But they couldn't do that this year.
I'm not even clear on what the census does.
Once every 10 years, they count everybody in the country, and then that determines how all of the resources are dispersed around communities. $1.5 trillion that's going to be dispersed. And so you count everybody. You count, like if you got like a 1-year-old, you count the babies. One person in a household counts everybody that's living in that household. It is absolutely private.
Do you have until the end of 2020 to complete mail-in and be counted for your 2020 census?
Nope, baby, you got like less than 10 days now.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, we can do it online now. I'll tell you about that. It only takes 7 minutes. So if everybody does it like right now when they hear about it, I call people and all that.
This isn't voting this side or that side. This is making sure that these trillions of dollars that are going to be dispersed are going to wind up where they're supposed to, whether it's infrastructure or bringing resources where they need to be.
It determines how many hospitals are in an area, how many hospital beds, clinics, schools. It determines roads, bus routes. It determines how many representatives you get in Congress. It determines your state representation, your school boards, commissioners, everything. Because if they look and they say, oh, there's no people over there, then nothing goes there. There is no citizenship question. There's nothing on there. Everybody's just gotta stand up. Only about 65% of households have filled out the census. So not only do we have to sound the alarm to like the folks we know, and the people tell them how to go online, my2020census.gov. If you know somebody that is older that doesn't do computers, go and say, let me help you. You know what? I wrote this down earlier. I told somebody today, 844-330-2020. That's the phone number. You just call them up on the phone, or you go to my2020census.gov.
Please, let's do this more often on as many topics as you deem relevant.
I love you, Robert. You know I do.